Well, it finally happened. The Nintendo Switch 2 was officially shown off by Nintendo yesterday. We're going to get into that and whether or not the leaks may have hurt the Switch 2 going forward. We also have a few other things that we're going to talk about regarding Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, Mortal Kombat 1, and even the creator of Bayonetta had a few choice words for everyone who leaked the Nintendo Switch 2. We're going to get into that later, but first we're going to get into the biggest news, which is the Nintendo Switch 2 itself. But before we begin, the like button is feeling kinda lonely, so do me a solid and hit that real quick. So unless you've been living under a rock for the past month or two, then you probably are aware of the constant leaks that kept happening with the Switch 2. Pretty much everything about the console, from the design, the slightly more rounded Joy-Cons, the new logo, the bigger size, the double USB-C ports, and even the IR sensor. Everything about the console was leaked weeks in advance, and with the official reveal yesterday, all the leaks were totally validated. I'm not too sure how to feel about that, honestly. On the one hand, we now know that we can trust guys like Nate the Hate, he was the guy who first announced that yesterday was going to be the day of the reveal, so he was totally vindicated, as were the other leakers. But having said that, these leaks also had the added effect of taking away some power from what could have been an even bigger pop from the video game community when it came to the reveal. I can only imagine what was going on behind the scenes at Nintendo. Like, how did Nintendo even let this happen? Or did they intentionally let it happen? That's the sort of place that my cynical mind tends to go to. Like, maybe all of these leaks were actually leaked by Nintendo themselves, or they allowed them to be leaked without coming out and saying officially that no, none of these are true. So it could be that they did this as sort of a soft marketing campaign where they ended up not having to spend any money and they still got a ton of publicity for the Switch 2 weeks in advance. So are these leaks gonna hurt the Nintendo Switch 2? I think that it's twofold. Like I said earlier, I believe that they hurt the initial response to the Switch 2 because, well, we already saw everything that was in the reveal trailer. Literally not a single thing in the trailer was new. None of it. All of it was leaked. So short term, it hurts the Switch 2 slightly. But long term, no. In the long term, the Switch 2 is going to have all the backing of Nintendo's first party support to propel it forward. On top of that, it also, if the same leaks are to be believed, which we now know that they are, then the Switch 2 is going to be a lot more powerful than the Switch 1, and I mean a lot. We could put it somewhere around the PlayStation 4 in terms of horsepower, but with the added benefit of AI upscaling, which means that they're going to be able to upscale low resolution into high resolution and make it look and run even better. Look at it from this perspective. Nate the Hate, he's the guy who correctly stated that Nintendo would release the reveal trailer when they did. He also said in that same podcast where he made the prediction, he also said that the Switch 2 was going to be getting Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta Snake Eater. That's the remake. You know, the remake with the really, really amazing graphics. Dude, I bought a whole ass Xbox Series just for that game, and it turns out that I probably didn't need to do that. But in getting back to the AI upscaling, the PlayStation 4 couldn't even do that. And beyond that, unlike the situation they were faced with in the Wii U era, there is no confusion as to whether this is a new system instead of an upgraded system. You cannot confuse the Switch 2 with anything else. Like, it literally has a 2 in front of it. That means it's a sequel. You know, like Jurassic Park 2 and, Terminator 2. You can't confuse it with the first one. You can't make it any easier than that, unless you're talking to a Democrat. What did he say? Not surprisingly, there were people in the X comments for the Switch 2 talking about how they're not going to be interested in it if the Switch 2 is not at least as powerful as the Xbox Series. For example, this guy here says, if it ain't as powerful as the Xbox Series, I'm not interested in Nintendo. Why do you always make underpowered, overpriced garbage? Like, honestly, I don't get this take. I really don't. If you don't like Nintendo games, then why is the Switch 2 even on your radar? Nintendo systems are for first-party Nintendo games first and foremost. AAAs are welcome, but like everybody knows, Nintendo systems are for Nintendo games. So if that bothers you, then you're barking up the wrong tree, dude. He says in another comment that he bought one of the PC handhelds, you know, like the Steam Deck, and mind you, those things are like $700. So if you got the money to spend on that, then I don't see how you can call the Switch overpriced. Besides, the Switch now is going to be in PlayStation 4 territory in terms of power, so I would say that now the Switch 2 is as powerful as it needs to be. It doesn't need to be anymore because I can pretty much guarantee you that there isn't even a single modern AAA game that cannot run on PlayStation 4 capabilities. A good example is Red Dead Redemption 2. That was a PlayStation 4 game, I'd remind you, so let's not pretend that that's retro now. Power and graphics are not going to get any better from here on for any console without completely skyrocketing the price. I mean, we're talking about you're going to need Tesla grade power to run a new system that actually feels like it's a new system. I mean, we all saw everyone's reaction to the absurd price of the PlayStation 5 Pro. I've got no doubt that the PS5 Pro is a lot stronger than the PS5, but you cannot see it in any meaningful way, so ultimately it doesn't matter how much stronger the PS5 Pro is. It's like the old saying, what you can't see can't hurt you, but in this case, what you can't see can't impress you. We're now in the era of diminishing returns when it comes to video game hardware. The more that you put into it, the less that you're going to get out of it, and the big winner in this is going to be the Nintendo Switch 2 because it's not trying to compete in that same space. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero just announced the release date for the first DLC pack, which is going to feature a big cast from the Dragon Ball Super superhero movie. It's going to include Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, the new Piccolo transformation as well as its giant form, and finally we're also going to be getting Gohan in his normal form with the new design with the cape and the hair, and the biggest one is that we're finally going to have the Beast Gohan transformation. So that's going to be rock solid. You know, I bought that game with the season pass and I just have not been able to play it that much, but I am going to be giving this new DLC a shot. The DLC pack is going to be available for everyone on January 23rd, so that's just a few days from now. But if you pre-order the deluxe edition, then you're going to have early access to this DLC pack on the 20th. I am also going to be eagerly awaiting the Nintendo Switch 2 version of Sparking Zero because you just know it's going to happen. But another game with a big DLC on the way is Mortal Kombat 1. Conan the Barbarian just had a gameplay reveal yesterday where we saw pretty much everything that he can do. Along with his fatality and animality, he's going to be available for early access on the 21st and for everyone else a few days later. So if you're familiar with my channel, then you know I play MK1 on the Switch. So I'm going to be doing a video breakdown for that update when it comes out, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Mai comes out for Street Fighter 6 in about 3 weeks. And finally, in some lighthearted news, Hideki Kamiya, better known as the creator of Bayonetta and Okami, which by the way is available on the Nintendo Switch now and is an amazing game, but Hideki Kamiya recently went on a viral rampage against all the Nintendo Switch 2 leakers. He said, and I quote, "I hope that all the people who leaked Switch 2 information and those who helped leak it will be cursed for the rest of their lives to always have poop on the soles of their shoes when they get home." Hideki Kamiya has always been kind of a colorful person on Twitter, or maybe controversial would be a better word. That's going to be it for this video. I'm Switchblade, done.